Hey everyone, thanks for joining me. Welcome back if you are a returning viewer. If this is your first time visiting the channel, welcome. Thanks for joining me. My name is Laura and this is my YouTube channel called I Heart Knitting. If you're looking for me on the internet, I go by I Heart You, EWE, on most other platforms. So that's where you can find me on Instagram. That's the name of my Etsy shop. And you can also find me on Ravelry as I Heart You Knits. So yeah, I hope you're having a good month so far, a good July. It's been about 3 weeks, I think, since I checked in with you last, and I don't have a ton of knitting to show you, but I have a few projects that I've been working on, and I have some things for the Etsy shop that went in last week that you might want to have a look at. And I'm going to do some Q&A today as well. I asked on Instagram over the weekend and I put up a post on YouTube asking if you had any questions for like a Q&A segment. So I will probably do that second, and I will do the Etsy shop items at the end. So if you're interested, stay tuned for all that. Otherwise, we'll have all the knitting content up at the beginning of the episode here. So yeah, I haven't been knitting a ton. I'm sure you've heard, it's all over the news. There was this big like heat wave that went through. I think it was about a week and a half ago that it hit the west coast of Vancouver, where I am. Yeah, so I didn't do a lot of knitting through that heat wave. It was really, really hot. We do not have air conditioning. That's pretty common for where we are here. Like the temperatures don't usually get that unbearable in the summer, so a lot of people don't have air conditioning in their houses, us included. So our house was pretty warm. You know, by the fourth day it was like 33 degrees Celsius inside, which I think is like almost 100 degrees Fahrenheit. I might be a little off, but it's pretty close. And so yeah, that wasn't exactly comfortable. I spent a lot of time on the floor in my studio because for some reason this seems to be like the coolest place in the house. So I watched a lot of YouTube and just kind of laid on the floor with my dog drinking so much water. But luckily we got to go over to, there's a lake close to our place that we can swim in. And one night we were able to go out on our friend's boat and I jumped in the ocean, which when the ocean is refreshing, you know it's hot because it's normally like shockingly cold. But it felt really good. So anyways, I didn't do a ton of knitting. You know, like it's summertime here and things are kind of busy. We went on a hiking trip right at the end of June, and yeah, just lots going on. I've been working on stuff around the house and things, but I do have some knitting to show you. The first thing I want to show you is my Goldfish Memory Shawl, which is still living in this medium drawstring bag, but it is definitely starting to fill it up. This is a 3-skein shawl. So I'm working my way through the 3 skeins. I've actually done a decent amount of knitting on this. It's been really, really fun. I'm trying to think of what I want to tell you about this. It is called the Goldfish Memory Shawl, and the pattern is by Casapinka. And it's just a really, really fun, what I like about it is it's always changing. And I guess that's the idea with the Goldfish Memory, you know, name, is that goldfish are supposed to have, you know, this like legendary, like short attention span. And that's the idea behind this pattern, is that you're always changing up your pattern, changing up your colors. You're not really doing any particular thing for much of, you know, it's not like you're doing like stockinette forever or garter stitch forever. It's always switching up colors and textures, and it's been really, really fun to work on. I actually started one of these, I think it was early in 2020. But I hadn't really done a good job picking the colors, and so I ended up ripping it out. I think you can see that on my Ravelry page, the one that I frogged. And, you know, I really wanted to work on it, but I was really worried about choosing, you know, the wrong colors again. But I'm really happy with my color choices this time. It's turning out really, really beautifully. So here, I want to kind of show you the whole thing going from section to section. So I'm just going to kind of do this slowly for you so you can get an idea of all the changes. So it's, you know, knit on a bias and very simple stitches. There's a little bit of texture and there's a bit of lace up here as well. There's a small lace section, but the lace section is really intuitive and really quick to memorize. And now I'm back into like garter ridges, and now I'm doing garter stripes. So originally I think I had this bright color here, not the dark blue, but this bright color, and I had it mixed with the other color was like a gray, and I can't even remember what the third color was now, to be honest with you. But the gray and this this variegated color were just, they weren't playing well together, and there wasn't enough contrast. So I went digging through my stash again, and this dark blue was actually a color that was supposed to be in my what do you call it, in my City Limit sweater, but it's one that I ended up pulling out and replacing with another color. So it just sort of worked out that I was able to take that color, and when I realized how nicely it would go with that bright color that I wanted to use in the first place, that really helped me pick out. Anyways, that really helped me kind of decide which way to go with it, and then I was able to find this really nice kind of bright blue variegated, so that there was at least some contrast between the three, because I don't mind how, you know, this is two different colors in here. I don't mind how that looks. It's not sharp contrast, but in adding in this dark blue, it's really allowed the other two colors to shine and mix really nicely together. So yeah, really happy with it. I've been working on it a lot. I think I'm on section 8 now, something like that, and I don't have too many more sections to go. So really, really enjoying that. It's been nice, kind of mindless knitting, and yeah, just enough to kind of keep you interested. So I'd really recommend this pattern if you're looking for a shawl, you know, 3-colored shawl. What I would say though is just be careful with your color choices. Make sure that you have a solid or semi-solid, you know, to kind of break it up. I'm not the best at picking colors. You know, I'm not the best at seeing how they're going to mix together. I'm getting better though. And so these are the 3 colors I ended up choosing. So I kind of went for like a light color and a dark color and then a bright variegated in the middle. And they're all really, really nice together, and they're all really playing well together. Really, really lovely. So this color is by the Fawn Knits. They are not dyeing at the moment. Their company is called the Fawn and the Fox. But this is their otter base, which is like 463 yards to 100 grams, and the colorway is called Siren. I'm trying to show you this paper so you can see their label. The Fawn and the Fox yarns. Really beautiful dyer, but she is, I believe, not currently dyeing right now, but she does have project bags, I believe, in her shop, and she has some really unique project bags, and I would definitely recommend checking that out. They're just not quite as active as they used to be when I first came across them, which is going back a few years now. And then this color here, the kind of medium or variegated one, this one is by Long Dog Yarn, and it is, the colorway is Casada, and it is another 100 gram, 463 yard sock yarn. This tag is trashed, but I will show it to you anyways. So Long Dog Yarn, and you can see, well, you would be able to see if it wasn't so trashed, that their logo is a dachshund, which is one of her little dogs. And then this color is Euphoria Knits, and I'm actually gonna have to check the colorway on that for you. Okay, so I'm glad I checked that because the colorway is called Knock, so it's spelled N-O-K-K, and I did not think that that was the name of the colorway. So anyways, that is the nice dark blue, and that is by Euphoria Knits, who is Janessa, and that is their standard sock base as well. So it's probably pretty close to the other ones, 463 yards, 100 grams. So yeah, I think that's kind of all I have to say about that. It's been a really fun project. I've, worked on it a bit when I started it, and then put it down for a while and went on a little sock bender, and then kind of got back into it a few weeks ago, and I've put a lot of work into it and just really enjoying it. It's perfect pace for me right now, and just really enjoyable to be knitting something larger that isn't a sweater. I haven't done a big shawl in a while. And then the other thing I'm working on, even though I haven't made any progress on any of my other socks, is I just started a new sock this morning and got quite a lot of work on it. It's Sunday today, so I just had kind of a relaxing morning and just did a lot of knitting on this sock. And I'm actually not sure, I might actually add 4 more stitches to it. I'm knitting for someone with larger feet than I have. So I have like size 7.5 feet, and the person I'm knitting this for, they have a women's like size 10.5 foot. So I'm worried they're not going to be quite big enough. I think I have 64 stitches right now on 2.5 millimeter needles, which is, I normally would knit my socks 64 stitches on 2.25 millimeters. But I was looking at a sock chart today online that I found. Maybe I'll link that down below, because it was a really helpful sock circumference and length chart for knitters, which kind of also had a bit of the ease built into it as well, because I know with, like, for me with socks, I like to have them a little bit of a negative ease so that they fit really nicely. But I measured this, and I'm getting a gauge of 8 stitches per inch, and so that's only going to make a sock with an 8-inch circumference, and I think I want it to be more like a 9-inch circumference to fit this person's foot. So I'm still debating. I'm not sure what to do, because I could, decrease to 68 stitches on the foot, and that would give a little bit more space on the foot. I'm already planning on doing a turned heel and a gusset so that there's a bit more room for the instep. But yeah, I haven't quite decided. I might end up pulling it apart and starting over, but it's only one morning's worth of work, so that's not a huge deal. It just kind of feels like going backwards after I've done this many stripes, but you want it to fit the person in the end. That's more important than having to do an extra couple hours of work on it, So yeah, I'm gonna think about this before I continue working on it and decide whether I think that they'll need the extra room in the leg, or whether I can get away with just doing the 68 stitches on the foot, which would give it just that little bit of extra space in the foot so that it fits. So if you have any thoughts on that, let me know in the comments. If you have larger feet, that would be super helpful, because yeah, it's always hard for me to gauge how to knit socks for people with like foot sizes that are like a few sizes smaller, a few sizes larger than mine. And the worst thing is to give someone a pair of hand knit socks, especially if they're not a knitter. They might not want to tell you that they don't fit, because they don't want you to be disappointed in all the work. The yarn I'm using is Knit Picks Felici, and this colorway is called Whale Song. So you can see the ball band there. I do have an affiliate link now for Knit Picks if you would like to shop at Knit Picks and you want to support the channel and me, my content, I guess, at no extra cost to you. You can click on the affiliate link down below before you shop. So Knit Picks Felici, they have really fun self-striping sock yarn, but they do like limited edition colors. Oh, Sammy's gonna come say hi. Can you see him? Oh, there he goes. Sammy! Hi, baby. Yeah, it's hot out today. And he's gone. Yeah, so Knit Picks Felici, self-striping, limited edition colorways. So sometimes they don't have like any colors of Felici in stock. And then if you sign up for their mailing list, they will send an email when the new shipment comes in. And they're usually like all new colorways. And yeah, it's really nice, super soft merino. It's a 75-25. And they come in 50-gram balls, which is nice because you really could get away with making a pair of socks with 50 grams if you had another color for cuffs, heels, and toes. So it's 50 grams, and there's 218 yards to each 50-gram skein. So that would make it a 436 yard skein if it was 100 grams. Yeah. So just started those this morning, and yeah, I'm just gonna have to think about that one and decide where I want to go with that, but we'll see. And like I said, let me know if you have some advice for me. That would be really helpful. Always happy to have some advice. Yeah, so I think that's basically it for my knitting. I haven't touched any of my other projects. I have like 5 other sock whips on the go, and I have a sweater on the go, and I have a fingering weight color work sweater that I haven't touched in ages, and I have more things that I want to start. But just this time of year, I don't put a lot of pressure on myself to finish projects. I know that once the cold weather comes in the fall and winter, I'm gonna be more in the house, and the light changes and it gets dark early, and we just spend more time inside, and I have more knitting time. So eventually all those things will get finished up, and then as well, I'm hoping that my uploads will get a little more frequent as I have more content to show you all as well. So yeah. So I wanted to do just a little Q&A section. If you ever have questions for me, I'm always happy to answer them. You can always just leave me a message down below, or comment on a post or something like that. I don't always get direct messages on Instagram just because of how they have it set up, but yeah, I did put that out there on Instagram and on YouTube this week, and was asking if you had any questions for like a Q&A section, and I did get a few questions, so I'll answer that now. So the first one, someone asked when my birthday is, and I am a Boxing Day baby. I am a Capricorn, and that won't be a surprise to some of you, I'm sure. And yeah, so Boxing Day baby, and funnily enough, my husband just did a half birthday party for me on the 26th of June, because anyone who's born around Christmas knows that it's not the best time to have a birthday. You kind of get lost in the holidays. My family celebrates Christmas, and my birthday is the day after Christmas, and everyone's always very kind and rallies for me. But it's not something that I'm like, my birthday's never a big deal. It's always just pretty chill and pretty quiet, and it's really hard to kind of get people out for a party in the middle of winter like that. So anyway, so my husband threw me a half birthday party. We did one the year I turned 30, which was super fun. It was at our old place. We had a barbecue, we had a piñata, and it was a lot of fun. So we were going to do it for the year that I turned 35, which was last year. But that didn't happen because of COVID. We weren't having big gatherings or anything. And yeah, not that it was a huge gathering this time, but we had maybe 10 people over and just sat outside. It was blazing hot. So we didn't even barbecue. We just had like cold meat and cheese and things like that. But it was really nice to just kind of see some people who we hadn't seen in a while, and just have a little, mini half birthday party for the year I turned 36. So yeah. Another question I had off of YouTube was, someone was wondering what I did before I had the Etsy shop. And so before I had the Etsy shop, I used to do the Etsy shop part-time. I worked at, I'm trying to think of how far back I should go here. I've worked in restaurants a lot. That's where I met my husband. That's what I did. Like I went to school, but I've never actually used any of my schooling for anything. I worked in a restaurant when I was in school. I met my partner and we got together and we moved out west to this tiny little island. So I just continued to work in restaurants because there just aren't a lot of opportunities for professional jobs here. And, you know, you do what you know, which is serving and waiting tables. So did that for quite a few years. And then I also had a job, a part-time job at an organic grocery store, like a little small organic grocery store here on the island. It's called Southridge. And I did that part-time at first, and then that turned into more of a full-time job where I was like managing and doing kind of operations managing and ordering and stuff like that. And then after that, from about 2015 to early 2020, I worked at a hardware store, which was actually super fun. It was a really busy place to work. There's one hardware store here on the island, and there's always a lot of, you know, building and things going on here. So it was a really like busy, fast-paced environment. It's in the home hardware chain, which any Canadian knows how awesome small town home hardwares are. And I worked for like a family. There were 3 generations of the family working there. And I learned a ton about building and painting and just all sorts of home improvement stuff, which is perfect because that's when we had bought our house. So really enjoyed that job while I had it. And I did the Etsy shop part-time. I was doing the farmers market here and stuff like that. But I just found it all a bit much. And so I would do the Etsy shop part-time, and then I just transitioned into doing the Etsy shop full-time, which is what I do now, which is really cool. You know, when you're working for someone else and working for yourself, I think it's easy to put your own priorities on the back burner because you know that you have to do things for, you know, you have to go to work and you have a schedule that you need to keep and things like that. And so, you know, it was always my business that would get pushed aside. And so it's been really great the last, you know, just over a year since I reopened the Etsy shop. And, yeah, anyways, it's just really nice to be just working for myself. It's a really good feeling. So yeah, I started the Etsy shop in 2014. And I think the first year I was open, I made like maybe $100 off of the shop. So it does take time, and it does, you know, take a while to build up a following. If you're new, don't give up. You know, there were many times where I thought I was going to give up, and usually just at the right time I would have a sale, or I would have, you know, a really encouraging message from someone if I was starting to feel down or questioning whether I should keep going. And yeah, that made all the difference for me. So yeah, so that's what I did before Etsy. The other question I had off of YouTube was someone was asking if I could post some video of the island. And I didn't have a chance to do that, like to go around and film. I'm not sure if I'll do that or not, but if you are interested in seeing shots of the island, you can follow me along on Instagram. I do a lot of stuff in my stories, like I'll post a lot of island photos and things in my stories. So that's a great way to see some shots of where I live. I live on a small island. It's called Pender Island. And it's just between Vancouver and Victoria and the Gulf Islands. And it's really beautiful. The population is about 2,500. It's quite rural, but I love small town living and living in a small place. And it's you know, most of the time it's a really wonderful place to live. Sometimes you feel a little bit hemmed in being on such a small island, but we've been here for, it'll be 12 years this year, so we're pretty used to it now. And you know, I was kind of thinking about it, and I'm like, what do you want to see on the island? It's just trees and rocks and ocean. But I think that's me living here for too long and getting used to the view, because it really is a really beautiful place to live. But yeah, I didn't have a chance to take any video. I'm sorry about that. Maybe that'll happen in the future. I can give you guys a little tour, but like I said, if you're interested, maybe follow along on Instagram and you can see some shots of, island life there, especially now that things are starting to open back up again. The farmers market is a little more opened up, and they might do the fall fair this year, so that's really exciting. Yeah. Another question I had off of Instagram was, what are your favorite things to sew for the Etsy shop? And I think I gotta say, the drawstring bags I'm really enjoying right now. I love doing patchwork, but the work that goes into the patchwork, you can't really get that time back when you're selling the items. They do take a lot more time. So I really love doing the patchwork bags, but I've really been enjoying the drawstring bags lately. And the other thing that's been really fun for me is I'm starting to do more like themed updates, where I'll buy, a grouping of fabric that all kind of goes together, and then do that and use that for one update. So that's been really fun for me, doing the little like themed updates, which you'll see the last one was all yarny themed. So that was a really fun one. And then the last question I had off of Instagram was, someone was wondering if I would consider doing any more tutorials, specifically spinning tutorials. So if you look back, I did a drop spindle tutorial very early on in the channel, and I definitely want to do more of those in the future, but I would like to be a little bit more prepared before I do them. My drop spindle tutorial, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, I videotaped it in kind of like, I was kind of in a weird place then, I guess, and I wasn't doing very well. And I wasn't doing very well at like getting organized and, making a plan. I was just kind of like pressing record and going with it. So the lighting's not great. The background isn't the greatest for like being able to see what I'm doing. But I really would like to do more of those tutorials in the future. So if that's something you're also interested in, let me know in the comments, and what specifically you'd like to see. I haven't been doing a ton of spinning, but I'm a fairly, I would say I'm like a amateur to like good amateur. I don't know what you call it. I'm not a professional spinner, but I'm pretty decent, and I got really into it a few years ago. So that's something I would love to do more tutorials of. I have not done really any knitting tutorials because I'm a left-handed knitter, and left-handed knitters are pretty niche, like pretty small group. And there are a lot of tutorials that are made already specifically for left-handers. So I just felt like maybe that wasn't the way to go. But spinning, I think that's something that I could do that would be pretty universally interesting for people. So yeah, so check out that drop spindle video if you are interested in learning more about drop spindling, and if you have any more ideas about what kind of spinning tutorials you'd like to see, I'd be happy to record some more. I have an Ashford Kiwi spinning wheel that I really love. It's a double treadle, like kind of modern style spinning wheel, and I just got a third bobbin for it, or a fourth bobbin, so that I can do like traditional 3-plies on it. So that would maybe be a good tutorial. So yeah, I would love to do more things like that in the future. I'm not the most organized right now. I sometimes feel like I get pulled in a lot of directions between, trying to kind of manage, especially this time of year, my garden, and, take care of the house and the dog and everything like that. And then also the Etsy shop, and then the YouTube channel, and social media. We all know you wear a lot of hats when you're doing your own business, and I wouldn't trade it for the world, but I'm not the most organized person all the time. So that's probably something I'll be able to do more in the winter when I have some more time, hopefully. So the last thing I want to show you is some things from the last Etsy shop update. I have some project bags and some lavender sachets to show you here. So I did have some sheep project bags, but they have sold now. And I don't have any more of that fabric, but I do have quite a few of the lavender pouches in the shop with the little sheep on it, if that interests you. This is local Cowichan Valley lavender. I was actually just in touch with the Cowichan Valley Lavender Farm this morning. They have their new stock in, and I'm getting 3 more pounds delivered in the next week or two, because I'm almost out now. I have like a teeny tiny bit left from what they sent me last fall. I ordered a bunch when I found out that they were almost out, but they smell amazing. And I have one left with little yarn balls on it as well. I didn't do a ton this time just because, like I said, I'm running out of lavender, but I will have more of those coming in the future. I have a few bags left here. This is a sock size with the yarn balls. This is fabric by, I believe it's Sarah Watts from Ruby Star Society, and it's all yarny themed. This is a canvas, and this copper is metallic, as you can see there. Really lovely gray. I'm digging this kind of gray brown. And then I did another Ruby Star Society speckle on the inside. The speckle is by Rashida Coleman Hale. I love using designer fabrics. I think that designer fabrics are just such good quality and such unique designs. Is called like a yarn flash, so it's almost done like a tattoo flash, but they're all yarny themed things. A little sweater and socks, and then like a little traditional kind of swallow tattoo style with yarn written there. And then there's some little granny squares and little hearts and teapot. It's really cute. So this is a square sock size. And then this is the medium drawstring. I showed you my project in a medium drawstring. It will hold 3 skeins. Yeah, I would say 3 skeins pretty comfortably. My shawl is getting big for it, but it still does fit. I just have to kind of push it down if I want to drawstring it closed. But they work great as like a big yarn bucket. They have quite a wide base on them. I love this one. I only have this one with the alpacas on it, so if that interests you, please grab it, because that fabric is, I've had it for a long time and I can't get any more. And this is the same yarn flash in the large zipper size, and black with the speckled fabric for a pocket on the inside. I just do a little slip pocket on my large size, enough to hold a few notions and a measuring tape, that sort of thing. This is the copper metallic with the grays. And then I did like a blue with copper speckle and a pink one on the inside, pink pocket for something different. And then I have just a couple of the drawstring bags left. This is canvas as well, with the metallic as well in a different colorway. And then the pink on the inside. This is that dark teal one, which I actually am surprised I have 3 different sizes left in this one, because this is my favorite colorway. And then I did like this bright blue and like an ochre on the inside for the pocket. So this has one big pocket here, and then 2 little pockets on the side, some smaller ones. And the big pocket is designed to hold your pattern folded in half. And then also this one as well in the bucket bag size. And I keep on saying this is like grandpa vibes with the gray plaid on the inside. And yeah, the whole inside, the pocket and everything is all the same fabric. So yeah, those are in the Etsy shop right now. And let me know if you have some ideas for what you want to see in the future in the Etsy shop. I'm going to be taking a little bit of time off. I don't think I'm going to do another update this month. My hair's crazy. I don't think I'm going to be doing an update this month again. I think I'm just going to leave it as is. I have a pretty decent stock right now built up of some things, you know, every time I do an update, like a lot of things sell, but then I'll usually have 1 or 2 things left over. And yeah, so I have a pretty good stock in the shop right now. I have lots and lots of the light bulb stitch markers in there as well. So if you're interested in that, check that out. And yeah, I'll be doing more stuff through into August. I don't have specific plans on what the updates are going to be, but I do have quite a few like little scrappy bits to use up. So I think I'm going to try and do some patchwork and yeah, just maybe go through my fabric shelf here and pull out some things that I haven't sewn with in a while and kind of get through some of my fabric. I've been really wanting to work through my stash instead of just continuing to buy new fabric because it's so tempting, but then the stuff that I already have just sits on the shelf there. So probably do like just a random update with some of the things that I have on the shelf already. So yeah, I think that's all I want to talk to you about. I feel like this went really fast, but now I'm looking at the recording length and it says I'm at 40 minutes, which is surprising. So either way, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a good summer if it's summer where you are, or you know, if you're in the southern hemisphere, I hope you're enjoying the winter. I'm not going to see you again until into August. I have another hiking trip planned in about 2 weeks. I'm going to be gone for a little while on a hiking trip on the north end of Vancouver Island. I'm really looking forward to that. So yeah, in the meantime, you know, enjoy yourself, take care. Hope you're doing well. I hope your knitting is going well. I don't know. I hope you're doing good. And we'll see you again soon. Thanks so much for stopping by, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.